Hello, welcome back to Friendly Fire, the show that is 100% brought to you by Rival Fantasy. Rival Fantasy is a new sports betting service that is bringing an entirely new evolution of sports betting, fantasy sports betting, right to your fingertips. So Rival Fantasy again, brand new to the network. They're not completely brand new, but they are starting to grow. They're they've got all kinds of bettors. They got a lot of people out there willing to bet against you. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute because I have a bet out there I'm waiting on somebody to take. So I want to talk about the head-to-head bets for just look at that. His ears perk up as soon as I say somebody
sent me one, didn't
bet.
you?
I did not send it to you. No.
Oh, okay.
Nope. But I do want to let you know right down there. You see that right there? Joinrival.com right underneath Nate's face there. Joinrival.com/title tribe. Make sure you type it in exactly like that. Joinrival.com/title tribe. If you type it in like that, it'll take you to their website. Your first deposit of up to $200 is going to be matched. So if you deposit $50, they're going to match it and give you another 50, 75, 75, 200, 200. But just for using that link right there, it automatically is going to add an additional $25 to your overall booty to bet. So you've got a $200 deposit. They match 200. They give you 25, and you're sitting at $425 to bet on a $200 investment. That's $250 or $225 of free money, Nate.
It's a lot of money.
It's good money. Good money.
It's free money is the best money. Everybody knows that.
That's right. That's right. So I'm going to keep that up on the screen. I'm actually going to scroll that across the bottom so you've got access to that throughout the entire show. But I also want to talk about our Patreon, Nate. We have 4 new Patreons just in the last couple of days alone. It's starting to build. Patreon.com/toilets and titles. So after you're done depositing your money into the new Rival account that you're going to form, you can go ahead and deposit some money into our Patreon account to help support us. I'm not too ashamed to beg for it. I know. I mean, it's a new show. We're trying to get off the ground. We need all the help we can get. So we appreciate all of the support, not just from our Patreon supporters, but we've got a lot of people in that Gilded chat that are constantly blowing it up. It's been pretty active. Coach has done a great job of just really pushing that and getting a lot of people into it. So come help us out and come join the fun. Come join our mock drafts. Come join the shows. We've had Patreons come on the shows. We did a Frankenstank mock Tuesday night, last night, as we're recording, 2 nights ago as you're watching. And the Frankenstein mock draft, we had Patreons and just random supporters that came in to help with that. So fun stuff, Nate. Fun stuff.
Hell yeah. It's great. It's fun. Nice. That Gilded chat's been great. We switched to that app pretty recently, really, and I really like it. It's nice. It's easy to navigate, and it seems like there's always, there's constantly, content really. He said there's always football talk, all the time. So it's great. Join it. It's free.
Yeah, and if you want to join it, all you got to do is send me a DM. It's at JustinFF_ right there on the screen. Shoot me a DM or a comment in the comment section with your Twitter handle and tell us that you want in the Gilded, and we'll get you set up. I can send you the invite because, like Nate said, it's free for the Gilded, and free is always best. We're going to jump into Rival, into their mock drafts a little bit more. Last week, we started a mock draft. We only made it through a few rounds. We're going to finish that mock draft tonight. But this is mostly just a reminder to show you that Rival Fantasy does do mock drafts now. So before I get into that, though, I want to add this to the stream here so you guys can kind of see a little bit of what the site looks like whenever you get logged in. I can scroll down here. As soon as you log in, you hit that Rival Fantasy logo up there at the top left corner, and it pops you up with this screen that shows you all of your current and past bets. Right now, I currently have a challenge out there. I took Hogan Harris. If I click on that, it shows me the bet. I only bet $1 because I don't know baseball that well. I'm just doing it to get used to it. And I bet $1 on Hogan Harris, and it doesn't look like anybody took my bet. And down here, it tells us exactly how many they scored. I would have won the bet. Hogan Harris scored 15.26. Matt Manning scored 13.23. So had somebody accepted my bet, then Rival would have taken 10 cents from me and 10 cents from them. And it would have been a $1.80 pot, and I would have won $1.80 because they took Matt Manning if they would have accepted my bet. When I placed that bet, I just simply went to challenges, And I don't know if it's going to show it now because the games are all okay. Yep. So maybe they already have some out for tomorrow. Yep, because that says Thursday. So Thursday, July 27th. So I could do a bet right now if I wanted to. And I could just click on, if I wanted Singa, I could just click on Singa, punch in the amount that I want to bet. And again, I don't know baseball, so I'm not stupid. I'm only doing $1 to show you all how to do it. And I'm going to place that bet. So after I place it, I'm going against Chase Silseth. And whoever happens to see that bet now, when they log in, can accept the bet, or they can even bet more and hope that somebody else takes their higher bet as well. So fun stuff. That's just the challenges. We'll go over the others when we get closer to the football season, because we know our crowd are football guys. We know you all are signing up to get ready for football season. But these challenges across the top are all going to work the same way. Now, those mock drafts are found in the season long, though. That's where we left off last week. We've got a mock draft right here, Friendly Fire. Mock number 1 is paused. I'm going to pull that up.
I just took your bet.
Share it on the scale. You took the one that I just
yeah,
nice.
Why not?
Nice. All right. All right. So I'm going to recap the mock draft real quick before we get rolling here. Nate, you took the 104. This is a 1 quarterback PPR mock draft. So only 1 quarterback. So that's why you don't see a lot of quarterbacks taken. And don't forget, Rival did have that issue where the quarterbacks have the same color as the running back. So you see Joe Burrow here in blue, or I mean, it's the same as the wide receivers. So
I think like 6 quarterbacks been taken, maybe
something like that. It wasn't many.
But like I said, the ADP is a little off, and they're working on that. So
can you see your team?
I can see it now on the screen, but like I said, on my computer, it's hard to scroll around it, but I can see it now.
So give us a rundown of your team real quick.
So I went, like I said, was picking from the 4th spot. Took, of course, my RB1 Nick Chubb, because Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and McCaffrey went before. So I took Nick Chubb. Round 2, I took Derrick Henry. 3, took Travis Etienne. Round 4, I took Calvin Ridley. Followed him with Christian Watson. And then I just took Javonte Williams in the 6th round. So plenty of running backs, but I think Justin and I are cut from the same cloth here, where we will draft as many running backs as possible in redraft leagues.
Yeah, and if I'm not going running back, then it's only because I felt desperate at wide receiver, and then any other positions, it's just because the value had to have been super strong, and definitely never quarterback. No. But Nate, what I like about your team here, that Travis Etienne, I understand in 1 quarterback leagues, that's kind of his ADP right now, is that early to mid 3rd round ADP range. So you got him at ADP value, but that dude should not be falling out of the 2nd round. I don't
understand how it happens.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't think people pay attention. I don't know what's going on. Like, do they just think that that T-Law is just going to throw the ball 70 times a game or what? Like, and even if he does, I want a piece of that offense.
That's fine, because he still catches the ball out of the backfield, so he can throw as much as he wants. So
right.
I think he's in line for a huge season.
Yep. I think it's could be a big breakout season for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of breakout, on Sunday at 1 o'clock, I'm doing a show with the Mad Scientist, the fantasy football Mad Scientist. So make sure you're checking out their stuff on YouTube. I'm going to be there to promote Frankenstank, and also we're going to go over our sleepers, our bust, and our potential breakouts. Travis Etienne was one of them that I was leaning towards, but I ended up going a different route. I don't remember who I put in there right now, but he was definitely one of them heavy in consideration. Let's see. I had the 12 spot. I practice a lot from the 12 spot because that's where my home league, that's where I'm going to be drafting from.
Because you win all your leagues and you're always drafting 12.
Actually, we had a competition to the order. We do this every year. Whoever gets 2nd place gets to choose how we do the competition. So, like, if somebody that's good at golf gets 2nd place, he chooses a golf competition because he wants the first pick. Well, Uncle Steve and I had to split the championship last year because of the Damar Hamlin issue that happened, because we were both in the championship together, and we were close at that point in the game. Our projections were close. I mean, I was up by a little bit, but there's a good chance he could have passed. So we decided just to split the championship. So we decided together, our way that we determined our draft order was we all estimated what the NFL draft was going to be. The all 31 picks, the team they were going to, the whole 9 yards, and you got points based on how well you did throughout that. And then whoever had the most points got first dibs. I think I ended up in like 5th place. So I had the 5th option, and I was 6th because the top 5 picks were all taken. So at the 6th option, I didn't want the number 6 pick. I liked that turn at the end. If I don't get a top in one quarterback leagues, I'd say if I don't get a top 4 pick, I want that 12, because if I'm not getting Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, actually, you know what, CMC, Chubb, and Eckler, all 5 of those really. So I'd say a top 5. If I don't have a top 5 pick, I want the 12, and I had the 6th option, so I went 12. But anyhow, that's a whole long story there, just to tell you that this isn't even a super flex like my home league now is, and I still practice from the 12. But it's fun. It's fun to have leagues like that. Try to be interactive with your home leagues. But I'm also super heavy in running back, and I don't care if it's one quarterback or super flex. I'm still usually super heavy in running back. I went Saquon with the 112. Now, remember last week, he did not lock up that deal yet. And people were, kind of wondering, do we hold off on him? Do we let him slide? I didn't want to take that chance because I figured they'd sign him, and I knew he'd be a deadlock to be the bell cow again. But that situation, in my opinion, got even better for me in this situation because now it's a 1-year deal. Like, it's like he has to prove it again.
And there's some good incentives in there for him to earn a lot more money with, I think if they get to the playoffs, he gets a big chunk of change. So it's like, he's not going to, would just be like, well, they can kick rocks. Like, I'll just do my thing. Like, he has some big incentives to play very well and to put the team on his back like he probably will anyways. But, like I said, I think he's a steal.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And then I followed that up with Tony Pollard, who's going to be another bell cow.
Yep.
Aaron Jones, who may not be a bell cow as far as like the traditional sense of the word, but he's going to get a lot of run, and him and AJ Dillon both can eat in that offense. As a matter of fact, you're the Packer guy. You just had an episode that's dropping tomorrow at noon. Tell the people what that episode is about. Where did you guys go with the Packers this week?
So, being the training camp started yesterday, when you're listening to the show, my bad. We talked about, basically all the positions, went through every position group. We didn't, we're not here to predict a 53-man roster. We didn't really want to mess that. Basically went through the position groups as whether their strengths and weaknesses that we felt, throughout the team, talked about a few guys we really like, kind of things we're looking forward to, so yeah, check it out. It was a fun episode, and, let us know what you think if you agree with our strength and weakness predictions.
There you go. So this is round 4 is where I got a little bit off of my normal game plan, but again, it's because of the value. TJ Hawkinson is a guy that I have listed actually right there with Mark Andrews. I don't know which one I want between the two. I love them both this season. Yep. So the fact that I was somewhat considering taking one of them at the first turn, the 1-2, because PPR with these tight ends, they're going to catch a lot of balls. I decided to wait until the next turn just to see. I did not think that they would both fall. Mark Andrews did not, but TJ was still there. So I took him just strictly because of value, because I don't have a wide receiver at that point. So I need a guy that's going to get PPR points for me. So he's kind of like my wide receiver 1, and I think he'll easily finish as a top 12 among receiving people in general, including the wide receivers, especially in any given week. So,
yep.
And then it gets ugly after that because I waited so long for wide receiver, but I don't hate my wide receivers. I got Deontay Johnson and Tyler Lockett. So I've got a solid build, a solid start, but it'll be interesting to see how we finish this thing up. We may not finish all the way through because we did kind of talk a lot here, but we'll go as far as we can go. But let's see. Here we go. So round 7 kicks off with Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, and now Nate is up for the 7-4.
So as I look, there's a handful of receivers here, but I think they can fall. I'm going to take a tight end actually here. Darren Waller's available. I think he's in for a pretty big workload. We're the receiving core for the Giants is kind of like, it's unproven to an extent. It's got some guys, but I think that Waller's going to be a pretty big piece of their offense. So I like it.
Yep, I agree. Alvin Kamara, Marquise Brown, James Cook, Dak Prescott, the Human Predator, Kadarius Toney, and then A.J. Dillon. Now, listen, I don't normally like to stack 2 running backs from the same team. I know some people like to do it. Like if you get Saquon here, you might get his backup later in the round. That way, if Saquon gets hurt, you've got the next starter, whatever. I think there's too much question marks in that because maybe the guy that's the RB2 right now is still the RB2 when Saquon goes down because he plays a different RB role.
Yeah.
And the RB3 steps in and takes Saquon's spot. So I don't like to play that game. If I am going to try to get backups for my own players, it's a guy like A.J. Dillon who's going to eat on his own as well.
Well, like I said, there's weeks you could play both of them.
Right, exactly. And if one does go out, you know good and well the other one's getting the workload then. So that's a little bit different. I might play that game. Otherwise, if I have to play the game of guessing a backup, I want to guess somebody else's backup. I'm going to look at Nate's team. I'm going to guess who the backup for Travis Etienne is. That way, if he gets hurt again, then it's going to help bolster my running backs even more, right?
Yeah.
So that's usually how I like to play that game because then I got trade bait to go after Nate.
I'm the same way. I'm not a handcuff guy. I'd rather have other guys. I'd rather have guys on my team, like I said, that are playing. So,
and now that I've said that, here's another good combo to go right now: Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. If you're on this 12 turn, if I were hurting at running back, I'd probably jump on that. I'm pretty solid at running back right now, and I feel like I need some more wide receiver help. I don't think that Tyler Burks is taking as huge of a hit with D-Hop on the other side as a lot of people are. But I just really love Jahan Dotson right now. I think he's going to be able to excel in that offense this season, at least enough to make him a solid wide receiver 3 for me. So I'm going to go that route. Still really kind of want Treylon Burks. And I'm not confident that Jordan Addison's going to make it back to me. And he's going to be that wide receiver 2. That one is super tempting, but there's so many other wide receivers right in that same area. Just as Nate said, I don't need a tight end. I'm good at tight end. I got TJ. I might start flirting with some quarterbacks right now, but honestly, there's nothing that jumps right out at me and says I absolutely have to grab them. This is a mock, so I'm not scared to tell you, Nate, that I'm kind of heavily looking at Aaron Rodgers right here, right now. Dude, I tell you, man, he's going to have a top 10 season. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the top MVP vote guys again. So
yeah, it's very at least comeback player of the year. I know he didn't exactly go out with an injury, but
yeah, man. It's the same. When they drafted Love, like, oh, okay, well here, I'll show you.
And I'm not desperate at running back, so I can hold off on the running back spot. We do have a kicker and a defense in here, just to remind you. Just because typical one quarterback leagues usually have kickers and defenses too. I think I'm going to go with my heart here. I'm going to go with Treylon Burks. I've loved the guy all off season. I really do think he's still going to step up and play a decent role. And now I have 4 wide receivers to match my 3 running backs. So I'm probably going to for a little bit. Oh, you're Jamal?
That's what I wanted. Yeah. I was going to take another running back, even though I don't need one. I love Jamal Williams. I have since the Packers drafted him. Yeah. I don't expect him to have 17 touchdowns this year, but I think he's going to, have a big role in New Orleans, regardless of the Kamara situation. So I need a receiver. And, I think I did. I don't know if I did draft Cortland Sutton the other day in a league. I don't think I did, just because I don't know. I don't trust Russ Wilson. I think he kind of stinks. But this guy doesn't stink, and he's looked pretty good. And
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't take him just because you said it.
I know.
He's taking that spot of Adam Thielen. It pains me that they draft all these fun receivers and the Packers don't. But new team, it's okay.
Now, Nate, this pick right here is actually brought to us by another new affiliate, the energy drink known as
Dubby.
I
don't have my shaker yet, or I would show it to you guys. Sorry.
But have you tried it yet?
I haven't, because like I said, I just ordered it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so we're not going to talk too super highly of them yet until Nate's had an opportunity to taste it and see of its effects for himself. But do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so we partnered with them, I think, within the last like 2 weeks. They are a very, very new energy drink. Supposed to be, everyone says they're, better for you than the last one, but they, help with focus, less jittery, and less, they don't have I'm trying to think of the word, like I can't think of it, like, the crash. That's what I'm looking for. The crash isn't there when when it's over. And so I'm looking forward to trying it. Like I said, it's brand new. They're really promoting the heck out of it, and they have a ton of flavors. And it's not super super expensive. I know like Monster and those things. A lot of guys I work with drink them. I've never been a big Monster guy, but like I said, I'm very excited for this partnership. I know Nino just ordered a bunch too, so him and I will both have some feedback for you, hopefully here within the next week. So
where do they go? Where do the people go?
Just to their website. It's dubby.gg is the website. And then the promo code you put in is Title Tribe, all capital letters, for 10% off your order. And we would really appreciate the support. So check them out. Let us know what you think. Let me know what your favorite flavor is, because they have a sample pack that you can get. It's like $17 or $18. So that's what I'm going to get. This isn't the pick I wanted, but I'm running out of time. But like I said, ton of flavors, and I'm really excited to try it. So it's a powdered form, so you can, throw it in the water bottle, have it with you. A lot easier than having to try to, carry cans around with you and keep them cold. So check it out. Let us know.
I like it.
I took it. I was fine with that pick, Justin.
Too late now. You have to make a pick.
All right.
All right. I can pick it for you.
I want Elijah Moore.
Okay. That's good. I was worried that I was giving you an opportunity to take a player I wanted.
I hope it wasn't. Like I said, it's a bit of a reach, but I think he's in for a pretty big year. I know we're talking on the field. I don't think Watson can play as bad as he did. It's been a long time since he's played a full season of football, and he looked bad last year, but I don't expect that to continue. And I think Moore's in for a pretty big workload.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I maybe it's partly because I'm rooting for the guy to fail, but
understandably so. I said, that's understandable. I'm not. I'm not a fan, but
I don't have a problem with taking the other players around him, though. It's not their fault, right? So Elijah Moore is a guy that's going to get a lot of run, and you took Nick Chubb earlier. Like normally, I'd say, are you sure you want to stack Browns players? But I think you got a couple of solid ones there.
And he's my wide receiver 4, so
Yeah. If Aaron Rodgers did not go here in the 9th round, I definitely would have taken him here on this turn. So now if I go back and look at the quarterbacks available, again, guys that can score any given week, I could play the streaming game too. So I don't see any immediate need here to take a quarterback at this point. I kind of like Rashad Penny to maybe get some run in that backfield. He could be healthy for 3 or 4 of the games that they need him to be healthy in with all the other guys that are going to get hurt.
Do you think that the Seahawks just have an issue with running backs getting hurt? Because I don't know the last year they've had a guy like that stays healthy the entire year. I know that sounds stupid, but it's same with like the 49ers. It seems like those guys get wiped out year in, year out. And I don't know what it is. Chris Carson, same thing. Last year it was Rashad Penny, and we talked about him the other day, didn't we? Was that this show or a different show? I can't remember.
Who knows?
But DJ Dallas, and I can't remember the other one now. But it's just weird. It seems like they always every year have issues at the running back position.
Yeah, I think for this late, I'm going to go ahead now and take a chance on Devon Achane. I think he has an opportunity to be the starter there, at least by the end of the season. My other running backs are good enough to get me started with the season. And then if it doesn't work out, it's just a 9th round pick. So this is kind of like no man's land in running back area right now. That's why I go early and heavy with running back. But
again, I took him in Scott Fishbowl. I'm hoping he does something decent. So
a lot of wide receivers here, but I'm going to get a piece of that Aaron Rodgers offense if I can't have him. So I'm going to go with Allen Lazard.
I think he's
a lot of highlights.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. The 10-4. the 10-4, the 10-4, I almost took the defense here. Now, that's obviously dependent on your league scoring format. I know most league scoring format, you wait until the last to take a defense. But in my home league, defenses score a decent, solid amount of points sometimes. So I might actually take a defense on that turn. Just know your league.
Definitely know your league. Like I said, you're in here in no man's land. Now, back to Lazard, I think he's too good of a blocker to not be on the field a lot.
That's fair.
So,
and
that was
a ton of highlights in camp so far with him and A-Rod, and they only just started a couple days ago.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. So I'm going to take a guy that I feel – I know I don't need a second tight end, but I think he's in for a big workload in Buffalo. They drafted him to be a pass catcher. I think he's got a pretty bright future there, and I think even this year, I'm excited for him this year.
Now, you still haven't taken a quarterback yet, and
Nope.
We are in the 11th round. And now that Geno Smith just came off the board, I'll go ahead and admit that's kind of who I was hoping would fall to me at this 11-12. I was going to take him there if he was still there.
There's plenty of quarterbacks left. I'm good.
Yeah, but I think Geno Smith did enough to show that he'll be in a top 10 spot consistently enough
Definitely.
that I may not have to stream as much, and to kind of mitigate some of the headaches of trying to decide week in and week out of who I'm starting. It might be worth it to go ahead and take Geno at this point. And now you're right. After that, it's all a bunch of the same again.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I like they surround him with a lot of weapons. His offensive line played better. Pete Carroll is a phenomenal coach. So the only guy I really like is, it sounds dumb, another running back. I know everybody's all about Bijan Robinson, and I know he's going to be great, but there's no chance that Cordero Patterson does not get the ball. So in the 11th round, I love him. I take him in like the 16th or 17th round of Scott Fishbowl. I think he's in for a bigger workload than people think.
See, I'm worried, and not so much because of the Bijan Robinson. I was worried before they took Bijan, because that last half of the season last year, it's like he barely even made it on the field. They were running so heavy with that other Joe running back they got, that Algier, that he wasn't getting any run at all. So I'm worried about Cordarrelle, to be honest with you. I mean, he went 47 years in the league without being relevant at all, and then all of a sudden he's an RB1 on fantasy leagues for 2 seasons. Yeah. And now I feel like he's right back to nothing. I don't get it. But I'm worried about it. So count up how many running backs were taken, like which running back he was, real quick. Don't forget. It's just the red ones while I'm looking at my next pick.
Yeah, I get it to let it move me around where I can see them all.
Well, never mind. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to make a board bet because I don't think Cordero Patterson's going to hardly get anything at all this year. Let's see. But since we're wrapping up this, we're going to wrap up this draft. We have to end on an even number, so I'll pick. This will be the last turn here. So your pick will be the last pick we do. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quarterback. I'm going to go ahead and take Derek Carr, just to help keep me from streaming so much. And then always flip back over to the running backs. Always check your running backs every single time, just in case. Oh, there we go. There's a guy with potential. Rookie first season, Roschon Johnson for the Bears.
Only guy I had in my queue.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Makes me feel better, too. Again, in my home league, would have taken a defense there for sure, knowing San Francisco went first. And now you see the run of defenses, so just know your league scoring. All right, Nate, you've got the last pick here, and then we're going to call this.
I'll take a quarterback. It's been a while. I usually wait even longer just because nobody else has probably taken one. I'm going to take Bryce Young. I feel confident about the offense there. They were the team was they were a good team last year. They have a very good defense. Bryce Young is the talent is clearly there. Obviously, we're a little worried about his size. Just not, it's the short. Just he's not a big dude, and sometimes the smaller guys they get banged up a little bit. But I love the talent. So yeah, I'm fine with him. And like I said, I'd probably draft the second one later. But the older guys that were there, Goff, Stafford, Kyler, I'm out on all of them. Kyler, who knows if he says he's going to be ready? Who knows? But I would feel better with Jordan Love than any of those guys I said. And that was who I was going to pick too, but I don't want to be a homer. So I didn't.
All right. Here's my board bet then.
Okay.
You drafted him at RB 44. That's a RB4 in fantasy football. And you sound like you feel like you got a good value there. So I'm even going to bump it up to a low end RB3. So RB 36. I don't think he makes it into the top 36.
I think he does. I like I said, maybe he was just getting worn down last year or what, or they were just kind of seeing what they had with other guys. I don't know. Bijan's not going to get 90% of the carries. I don't think there's any way they do that. So I'm okay with that. That's not a bad bet, I don't think.
So to recap, after 12 rounds of the mock, you've got Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, Christian Watson, Javonte Williams, Darren Waller, Jordan Addison, Elijah Moore, Dalton Kincaid, Cordarrelle Patterson, and Bryce Young. So a very mixed team as far as being able to play a lot of different options at each position. So very diverse there. And I feel like I went kind of the same route for the most part. We both waited until the end here to get a quarterback. We both went running back heavy, but I got Saquon, Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, Devon Achane, Alan Lazard, Derek Carr, and Roshan Johnson. And honestly, I'd be perfectly happy with either of these teams going into a fantasy football season. So I think we did pretty well with it, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I like him. And like I said, that Roshan Johnson pick, I got him Scott Fishbowl too. I'm very, very high on him. I have been all through his career at Texas. So yeah, I like that team of yours. They turn out a lot more balanced than you think. Not so much mine because I got like 6 running backs, but as heavy a running back as you go, you got to have a little bit of a run on receivers. And I think you being at that 12 turn, you can go back to back with a few players and, fill some things out. And sometimes it feels like you're reaching for guys, but you got to know who you want. You can't just sit there and wait. And if there's a guy you want, you got to take him because there's a very, very good chance he's not coming back, regardless of the spot you're drafting from, really, in my opinion.
Right. And that's also why a lot of times you'll see me do some moves like, and I don't see him on here, so he must have been drafted already. But like if Michael Thomas were still there where I took Derek Carr, I'd go ahead and get that stack. I know Michael Thomas isn't the wide receiver 1 there anymore. Olave's taking it over. But to have that stack where Derek Carr could potentially make Michael Thomas a decent receiver again coming off of an injury because they said he's going to be healthy and report day 1.
Yeah, fresh leg. He hasn't played for 4 years?
Exactly. So if you get 80% of a Michael Thomas, you're still getting a pretty damn good wide receiver with a very good, not great, mind you, but a pretty decent quarterback as well. So I think that's a good stack to get. So a lot of times I'll do that on the turn. That's why I usually choose the 1 or the 12 every single time if I have the opportunity with the way we do our league. I'll take stacks all day right there. So or I'll take, since I wait so long to take quarterback, sometimes I'll wait until these rounds 11, 12, 13, 14 and take 2 or 3 all right there together. Yep. That way that is my streaming. I don't have to stream. I can just play the matchups between those 3. Or I'll take back-to-back defenses just to take the top 2 just to piss people off sometimes because it's the late rounds. It's all about making people mad.
I agree. It's fun. Sometimes it's almost like, it's like I'm drafting out of spite. Because I know it's going to, grind somebody's gears. So it makes me laugh more. So
That's right. So again, it's joinrival.com/title tribe. It's W Energy.
Yep. DUBBY.GG is the website.
W.G.
GG.
GG. W.GG.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, but that promo code is right down there at the bottom as well. Title Tribe, all caps. Is that all one word also?
Yep.
Okay, because I know sometimes the promo codes are all one. So make sure you just put the one word, all caps, Title Tribe. All right. So I think that's it for tonight, guys. Next week, Nate and I are going to throw together some season-long prop bets for you. And we understand Rival doesn't actually have the season-long just yet, but we're a football show. We want to talk about some football. So we're going to do some football season-long prop bets that he and I are going to put on the bathroom board for the Toilets and Titles Network bathroom board bets. And we will also dig a little bit more in depth. Since I talked a little bit more about the challenges this week, we'll dig a little bit more in depth of the fantasy book next week, because I want to save the fantasy bingo for last, because I love fantasy bingo. So we'll do the fantasy book next week, and it's just kind of like how it sounds. It's kind of like sports book, but they're just
It's
just
all
like
fantasy points.
It's like I say, it's not DraftKings, it's not Dan Fuel. So it's kind of like that, except they use it with fantasy points, and it makes it very interesting. So, do we have anything else, Nate?
Nope, that's it. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a great